September 26, 1983. Just past midnight in a secret bunker south of Moscow. The air is thick with stale coffee and the low hum of machinery. Lieutenant Colonel Stanislav Petrov begins his shift as the duty officer at Sepukov 15, the command center for the Soviet Union's early warning satellite system. It's a quiet night, another routine watch in the heart of the Cold War. Then, the silence is shattered. A siren screams through the bunker. On the giant screen before him, a single terrifying word blinks in bright red letters: launch. The year is 1983, and the world is holding its breath. The Cold War is at its most frigid point since the Cuban Missile Crisis. Tensions between the United States and the Soviet Union are dangerously high. Just a few weeks earlier, the Soviets had shot down a Korean airliner, KL-007, that strayed into their airspace, killing all 269 people aboard, including a U.S. congressman. The incident provoked global outrage. In the West, U.S. President Ronald Reagan had recently labeled the Soviet Union an evil empire and was pushing forward with the Strategic Defense Initiative, a space-based missile shield nicknamed Star Wars. The Soviets, led by the ailing Yuri Andropov, were deeply paranoid, convinced that the U.S. was planning a surprise nuclear first strike. Both sides had thousands of nuclear warheads aimed at each other, ready to be launched at a moment's notice. The doctrine of mutually assured destruction, or MAD, meant that any nuclear attack would be met with an overwhelming retaliatory strike, leading to the end of civilization as we know it. In this powder keg of a world, Stanislav Petrov was the man with his finger on the button that could light the fuse. Back in the bunker, chaos erupts. The system, codenamed OKO or I, is reporting a single missile launch from a U.S. base in Montana. The protocol is clear. Petrov must verify the threat and report it up the chain of command. His report would go directly to the Soviet General Staff, who would then inform Andropov. The decision to launch a counterattack would be made within minutes. Petrov's training screamed at him to trust the system. The computers, the satellites, the complex algorithms. They were designed to be infallible. His job was simply to pass the information along. But something felt wrong. A first strike with a single missile? It made no strategic sense. A real nuclear attack would be a massive, overwhelming salvo designed to cripple the enemy's ability to retaliate. One missile was strange. As he hesitates, the bunker's alarm blares again. A second missile launch is detected, then a third, a fourth, and a fifth. Now the screen shows 5 intercontinental ballistic missiles screaming toward the Soviet Union. The system's confidence level elevates to its highest warning. Missile attack! Panic grips the room. Officers are shouting, phones are ringing off the hook. Everyone is looking at Petrov. The fate of the world rests on his shoulders. The protocol for a multiple missile launch is even more rigid. He must report it as a confirmed attack. There's no room for doubt. The computer is telling him the end of the world has begun. His own electronic map is flashing, tracking the missile's trajectory. He has less than 15 minutes to make a decision. Every second that ticks by is a second closer to impact. The pressure is immense, almost physical. He can feel the weight of 200 million Soviet lives and billions more around the globe pressing down on him. His subordinates are urging him to make the call. His superiors are on the line, demanding an update. The system is screaming, attack! Every piece of data, every signal, every light is telling him that the unthinkable is happening. But Petrov looks past the flashing lights and the screaming sirens. He looks at his team, at the terrified faces. He trusts his gut, his human intuition. He recalls his training, not just the protocols, but the engineering. He knows the system is new, that it has had bugs before. He also knows that a ground-based radar needs to confirm the satellite data. But there's a problem. The missiles are still below the horizon, so the radar can't see them yet. He would have to wait precious minutes for that confirmation. Minutes he doesn't have. He also thinks about the launch itself. All 5 missiles are coming from a single base. A real American strike would involve hundreds of missiles from land, sea, and air to ensure maximum devastation. 5 missiles from one silo complex? It just didn't add up. It was a flimsy, illogical attack. Was it more likely that the most powerful nation on Earth had just initiated a bizarre, limited nuclear strike? Or was it more likely that the brand new, complex Soviet satellite system was making a mistake? In that moment of supreme crisis, with sirens wailing and his subordinates in a state of near total panic, Petrov makes a choice. He picks up the phone to his superiors at the High Command. His voice is steady, betraying none of the turmoil inside him. He reports the alarm, but then he adds the crucial world-saving words. He reports it as a system malfunction, a false alarm. He is directly contradicting the billion-dollar computer system he is sworn to obey. He is betting his life and the life of the world on a hunch. It is the single greatest gamble in human history. After he makes the call, the minutes stretch into an eternity. The room is silent now, except for the hum of the computers and the frantic beating of hearts. Everyone is watching the screens, waiting for the missiles to appear on the ground radar or for the blinding flash of nuclear detonations. Petrov remains at his post, his face a mask of calm, but inside his nerves are shredded. He later admitted he was not 100% sure he was right. He figured his chances were about 50-50. Then, nothing. The minutes pass. The missiles, which should have been reaching Soviet territory, never arrive. The ground radar screens remain empty. Slowly, agonizingly, the truth dawns on the room. Petrov was right. There were no missiles. It was a false alarm. An investigation later revealed the cause. A rare alignment of sunlight reflecting off high-altitude clouds had tricked the satellite's sensors into thinking they were seeing the engine plumes of launching missiles. The system's software was flawed. It was designed to interpret this specific reflection as a launch. The crisis was over. The world had been pulled back from the brink of annihilation, not by a computer or a politician, but by the quiet courage of one man in a bunker who chose to trust his own judgment over the machine. You might expect Stanislav Petrov to have been hailed as a hero, but that's not what happened. His superiors were furious. He was intensely interrogated. By reporting a malfunction, he had exposed the flaws in their prized early warning system. He had also violated protocol. He was officially reprimanded for failing to correctly fill out the logbook during the intense event. He was not punished severely, but he was certainly not rewarded. His once promising military career stalled, and he was reassigned to a less sensitive post. A year later, he took early retirement, his health failing due to the immense stress of that night. For over a decade, the story remained a state secret. The world had no idea how close it came to nuclear war, or who had saved it. It was only after the collapse of the Soviet Union that his story came to light. Even then, Petrov never saw himself as a hero. He would always say, "I was just in the right place at the right time." The story of Stanislav Petrov is a chilling reminder of how close we came to Armageddon during the Cold War, but it's also a powerful testament to the importance of human judgment in an increasingly automated world. The systems we build, no matter how sophisticated, are not infallible. They lack context, intuition, and the ability to question the absurd. In the defining moment of the nuclear age, technology screamed for war, but a human being whispered for peace. It leaves us with a profound question as our own world becomes more reliant on algorithms and artificial intelligence. When the moment of crisis comes again, who will we trust to make the final call? If you're fascinated by the hidden histories and pivotal moments of the 1980s, consider subscribing for more documentaries like this. You never know what forgotten story might change the way you see the world.